part of the Golden Triangle has the Braves looking to pound the Pirates at PNC Park.
Roberto Clemente Bridge over the Allegheny back here in Pittsburgh. A spectacular night. Braves and Pirates coming up. Check out our Toyota starting lineups. And for Bobby Cox, Atlanta Braves, 5th in the league in runs scored. Andruw Jones starting to swing a hot bat. And Joe, he has broken out of that funk that he was in a little while ago.
A lot better balance in his stance too, John. He's swinging the bat real well. Maybe about to break out on a big tear. He'll be going against a guy, a veteran pitcher the Braves have seen a lot of over the last several years, Tony Armas, who's having a lot of trouble in the first inning. Teams hitting .409 against him. Here in the early part of the season, he's issued way too many walks, 14 of them in 22 innings. And too many injuries, yeah. He's had to battle shoulder, elbow, and last year some forearm injuries that have slowed down his career. But he's only 29 years old, 6'3", very solid 225 out of Venezuela. And lifetime against Atlanta, although a losing record, he has a .339 career ERA against the Braves.
Take a look at the defense in back of him. Brought to you by Advance Auto Parts, Bay, Duffy, Nady in the outfield. First to third, Eldred, Sanchez, Wilson. Bautista's played every game and done a great job defensively. Domit and Armas, the battery, as we get set for action here at PNC. And our umpires tonight, Doug Eddings. Behind the plate, he'll call the balls and strikes. Dana Demuth at first, Daryl Cousins second, and at third, Kerwin Danley. Ready to go here. Kelly Johnson starts it off. And a first pitch strike, we are underway. And 1-1 the count.
Tony Armas has good sinking action on about a 90-mile-an-hour fastball. Good slider and a curve.
And the count 1-2. Kelly Johnson continues to do a great job getting on base. Johnson's on base percentage on the season at .419 and going up against this righty, Tony Armas Jr. Got him looking inside corner, one away.
Not afraid to pitch inside either. You'll see that all night long. As long as he's in there, he'll pitch inside to both left-handers and right-handers, as he did here to Kelly for the strikeout. Started his career in the Yankee organization in one of those rare trades between the Yankees and Red Sox. He went to Boston and eventually landed in Montreal in the trade for Pedro Martinez. That's where the Braves saw a lot of him.
He was the player to be named and came over with Carl Pavano as Willie Harris takes strike one.
The chipper out of the lineup, a chance to move Willie up to number 2 and drop Edgar to the 3rd spot. A lot of speed at the top of the order tonight.
On a strike now to Harris, and he swung a hot bat and just giving them some energy, whether at the top or bottom of the order.
No question about it. Playing good left field too.
And that ball ripped to right for a base hit. A one-out runner for the Braves as Willie Harris comes up with his 11th hit and 26 at bats.
4 for 4 in stolen bases, but this catching trio of the Pirates has been very good at throwing out base runners. He stayed on that slider. Solid hit to right, but these guys can throw, including Domit. He's only 1 for 3, but their percentage is as good as anybody in the National League at throwing out base stealers.
Is there a better chance to see the Braves and Willie run more with Chipper out of the lineup?
I think so. You want to give Chipper a chance. For example, in this situation, Chipper would be up there left-handed, give him a chance to maybe take advantage of the hole on the right side. But with Edgar up there, maybe you run more, maybe you hit and run more.
Edgar drives this one pretty well right field. Nady going back some more. So 2 down, and Renteria got into one pretty good out there to right field.
I thought that had a chance to get out of here. And not only did it not hit the wall, it stayed in the park for an out.
So now 2 down for Andruw with a man aboard. Just getting started here in Pittsburgh. John Sciambi and Joe Simpson with you here on Sports South. Ross taking lots of time, very intent on keeping Harris close.
And he's a guy that he doesn't have a great move to first, but he is quick to home plate. And that gives his catchers a chance.
And ball one to Andrew. What's the biggest difference between Andrew Jones and the 0 for 21 stretch and now?
Balance. I think those 2 game-winning hits, or huge hits that led to wins for the Braves at home against the Padres, have helped him a little bit. His weight's a little more on the balls of his feet and not falling away from home plate.
Runner on the go, and the throw right there. Willie Harris is gunned down, and the Pirates continue to do an outstanding job limiting the running game. End of a half inning, the Braves nothing, and the Pirates coming to bat. In Pittsburgh, the weather is spectacular. People getting out on the boats, on the bikes, and here at PNC Park, it is game 2 of a 3-game set. Our Toyota starting lineups: Ryan Doman, red hot, 514 during the 11-game hit streak, with the Pirates scuffling for runs, 14th in the league in runs scored as they go up against Chuck James.
And Chuck tonight needs to try to go at least 6 innings. He has not been able to do that so far this year. 6 is the max he's gone, and that was only 1 start. Again, he's trying to find the right arm slot, and he's a fly ball pitcher. And in this park, make sure they go to Andrew. It's short down the lines.
Left-hander will work. Chris Duffy, ball 1 to him. Duffy starting out there in center field. And the count is 2-0 on the leadoff man. The biggest problem for the Pirates offensively, they don't get on base. Last in walks and last in on base percentage in the NL. And they count 3-0. Got to be tough. Jim Tracy looking for answers. They had a long offensive meeting, close to an hour before the start of this one. And strike 1 to Chris Duffy.
One of the things that's been a hallmark for Chuck James is his confidence, his aggressiveness, and hopefully he's not losing any of that during this rough spell, because he's quality arm.
He comes back to fill up the count. He's walked guys this year, but the command in the overall has been a problem, because it doesn't always show up in walks, right? I mean, falling behind. Right,
and having to throw to the fat part of the plate and giving up some hits. Got off to a good start. First couple of starts were outstanding. Last few have not been quite so good.
Payoff pitch, line to left. Willie's right there. Now our Advanced Auto Parts defense, and behind Chuck James tonight, Harris, Jones, Francoeur in the outfield. Chipper Jones sitting out. Pete Orr, his first start of the year. Renteria with him on the left side. Johnson and Thorman on the right side. McCann behind the plate. And Chuck James on the hill. So Pete Orr getting a chance finally to get out there
and get a few innings in, as well as get a few at bats. That'll help him too.
Ball 1 to Freddie Sanchez. Again, Jim Tracy trying to figure it out with their lineup. Sanchez has hit 1, 2, and 3. Renteria on the backhand. 2 gone. Hey folks, if a runner's caught stealing during the LoJack caught stealing inning, you could have a chance to win a LoJack stolen vehicle recovery system. Log on to LoJackSweepstakes.com for details and to enter for your chance to win the LoJack caught stealing inning, brought to you by LoJack, the only stolen vehicle recovery system operated by the police. First one to Jason Bay is in for strike 1.
Guy's a solid player, isn't he? Every year, good numbers.
Nothing in 2. You stand next to him, there's nothing physically all that impressive about him, but the ball jumps off his bat.
Quick hands, very strong in his hands and wrists. I wouldn't call him a dead pull hitter, but primarily a pull hitter. Doesn't hit the ball the other way that much, but just a tough out.
1-2. Reaching for that off-speed pitch. Lazy fly, Jeff Francoeur. Good job by Chuck James, and that's that. Pirates go 1-2-3, and we'll move to the second here in Pittsburgh. Out of the second here in Pittsburgh, Braves and Pirates, it is game 2. Atlanta trying to make it 5 straight. This is a gorgeous park, PNC Park. Underrated? Can we call it underrated, Joe?
Oh, yeah. I think it's because everybody immediately thinks of the ballpark out in San Francisco and the view first of all, but this one rivals it. It's a great downtown ballpark.
0-1 to Andrew. And that one is tapped foul. He delivered last night. Braves offense quiet till the 6th.
Yeah, but look at the location of this pitch. Out and down a little bit away from him, and he stayed on that ball. Hit it to straightaway center. I'm telling you, and he didn't fall down or fall backwards on the follow-through. Thing of beauty.
1-2 now to Andrew Jones. McCann to follow, then Francoeur against Tony Armas. And he lays off there. It's even up.
Because the Braves have seen a lot of Armas when he was with the Expos and Nationals. Several Braves hitters have a lot of at-bats, including Andrew. This is his 60th at-bat in his career against Armas. Not a very high average with 5 homers.
Got him swinging right there, 1 away. Second strikeout for Tony Armas. And he'll go to work against Brian McCann. It's asking Brian how his finger's doing, that left ring finger that he injured back against the Mets in that series, trying to bunt the ball and then re-injured on the catcher's interference. Slowly getting better.
Yeah, we were afraid he had hurt it last night diving back to second on a pickoff attempt, but it was mostly his nose that took the brunt of that problem. He said, I don't even know what I ran into. I said, his shin. He goes, would I have been out? And I said, probably. And he goes, okay, that would have been embarrassing.
3-0 to count. And here comes. And a 4-pitch walk to Brian McCann. It's hard for the finger for Brian to get better in any huge way right away because he's hitting every night.
That, and no matter what you put around it in the catcher's glove, it's going to take a beating in there too.
There's that look from high atop PNC Park. That's Roberto Clemente Bridge over center field. And Jeff Francoeur. Ball 1 to him.
Yeah, if you've never watched a game broadcast from here, if you've never been to Pittsburgh, they close that bridge down to only pedestrian traffic, so anybody downtown can park downtown and walk over the bridge to the park. Pretty cool.
That ball is ripped but foul.
Here's some of the fans still making their way across. Haven't missed any action so far. But hurry up! About to happen.
The greatest of all time, Roberto Clemente. Ball to strike to Jeff. And that one in the air, shallow left. Bay will play it on a bounce, and it's a single for Jeff Francoeur. First and second, 1 away.
We're so high up here at this ballpark, maybe the highest vantage point of any stadium we visit. We have a very good bird's eye view, and Jason Bay on this swing froze. He thought it was a real hard hit ball and got a late start, and as a result it drops in front of him.
I thought it was a pop-up to the catcher.
No, we're higher than the pop-ups, folks.
And now Scott Thorman, pinch in RBI double in last night's game. That was in the 6th. Strike 1 in the outside corner. Armas out of the stretch. And Scott gets into this one deep out there, right center field. Forget it, it's gone. Home run. Scott Thorman, 4th of the year, and just like that, Braves lead it 3-0.
Man, oh man, did he get into that one. He had a great swing on what looked like a changeup last night that he almost hit in the seats, pinch hitting. Wound up being a double off the wall. He wanted to make sure this one didn't hit the wall. That ball was way out away from him. Great extension. Listen to that. Well over 400 feet.
And now Pete Orr slices that one fair, ball the other way. Bay over to pick it up, or scoots into second, and that's got to feel good for Pete. First start of the year and a double, and he follows Thorman's homer with an extra base hit of his own.
Now, Pete had been scuffling a little bit, a few strikeouts mixed in some of his pinch hit appearances, and I know that was frustrating for him because he doesn't get any opportunities to atone for it. Tonight he gets a start. He might get another one tomorrow afternoon. He'll get a few at-bats, and I know that hit made him feel great.
There's Chuck James, a pitcher up here. And ball 1 to him. Braves getting after it early. I'm not talking about in the second. I'm talking about with only 1 out.
Yeah, and I told those fans to hurry. I'm not sure they made it in time.
Armas, after striking out Andrew Jones, just kind of lost command of the strike zone. 4-pitch walk to McCann, and he has struggled since. Chuck James slicing it to left. 2 down.
That's been kind of the mark of his whole season so far, John. I'm talking about Armas. Is he'll have some stretches, and even within a game, within a start, we'll have a couple of 3 innings back-to-back that are pretty good, and then start walking guys, give up some homers. That was already the 6th home run he's allowed this year in just 23-plus innings. So it's been a battle for him to get untracked.
Strike 1 to Kelly Johnson, who struck out looking, at a nice pitch by Armas to start the game.
Good fastball in on him.
Ward second with 2 gone. And a ball and a strike to Kelly Johnson. Just a spectacular night. It was a great afternoon. Weather outstanding yesterday and again here today. Outside corner.
Backdoor pitch, and a good one. Yeah, they're expecting around 30,000 here tonight. It's bobblehead doll night for Ronnie Paulino, the catcher who's not in the lineup.
Armas 1-2. And that one towards the hole. Diving stab Eldred. Armas gets over and beats Johnson to the base. That's the inning. But the Braves able to pick up 3. 1 swing of the bat. Scott Thorman's 4th. And the Braves lead. Last of the second is Scott Thorman, 3-run homer. The difference right now. And Xavier Nady to start it off against Chuck James. And that one drops in for a strike.
Couple of good change-ups already for Chuck in the first inning, and now here leading off a change-up to Nady.
Oh, one is low. Nady got off to a slow start, swinging better as he skies this one in the air, shallow right. Francoeur, 1 down.
Well, last night he thought he had a home run. Then he was just hoping for extra bases, and he wound up with an out on one of the best plays I've ever seen Andrew make. I know it's not climbing the wall or anything, but it's crashing into the wall and avoiding his right fielder. And it was just terrific, terrific timing laying out for that ball right at the edge of the padding. It was awesome.
Ryan Domit's been red hot. His body control out there is amazing. Plus, you start to get close to the wall, and you know, naturally you're going to get a little hesitant.
Well, it was one of those balls too that's right in between you and the other outfielder, so no one's quite sure who can get to it. But Andrew didn't take his eye off the ball and just went for it. This guy Domit is an interesting character. I mean, he did not make the club out of spring training. Got called up at the end of April, and he's just tearing it up since he came up, as you see, and he's hitting 11 straight. They got to find a place to get his bat in the lineup. He's a catcher by trade, but he played right field last night.
Swing and a miss right there. Good Chuck James fastball, and Domit's gone.
Chuck off to a good start. Fastball, a little bit up and away. Got away with it. Out of the reach of Domit. But more than anything else, there's two things I've noticed tonight. A, his changeup, but he's also his delivery. He's not falling all over the place when he follows through.
Brad Eldred, first pitch swinging, and it's 0-1. He gets the start in place of LaRoche. So Adams sitting this one out. Yeah, Roger McDowell felt like Chuck was overthrowing his last start. Just outside, 1-1.
Anytime Chuck James is following through like Mike Gonzalez, that's a bad sign for Chuck. And that's exactly what he was doing. He was trying to throw the ball too hard.
Center field, that one off the end of the bat. Late start, Andrew, but he's there. Good work so far by Chuck James. Locked in through the first two. He's gotten the first 6, and the Braves lead. Top 3, Braves lead 3-0. It'll be Harris, Renteria, and Andrew Jones against Tony Armas. And Willie rips that to left center field. Man, he is just on fire. Speeding for second. Throw not in time. A single and now a double for Harris. Wow.
What a great job he's doing. And not hitting the ball in any one particular place. That looked like a little bit of an inside-out swing. Let's see where the pitch was. Yep. Middle of the plate. He didn't try to yank it. Great step out of the box and an easy double for him.
Renteria pokes that one to right field as Nady will pick it up. They'll stop Harris, and Edgar Renteria has now hit in 18 in a row.
Great job by Edgar to get the runner over, and he got a base hit in the process. He hit it so good though that Willie had to freeze and make sure the ball was going to drop. Slider just kind of one-handed it.
Edgar been fighting the flu. That stomach flu left him a little bit weak, lost some weight, but he's back, and now 18 straight for the Braves shortstop.
Pirates already have their bullpen up, trailing 3-0, and the Braves in business with nobody out.
Jim Colburn, the pitching coach, out there. Edgar Renteria swinging such a hot bat, and let's check out our Kawasaki Good Times roll, and Edgar's letting it roll right now at the plate. Look at that. He's already added to that 17-game streak, and he's been an integral part of the offense. Joe, when this team is still won, although they haven't homered, Renteria is the type of guy that's usually right in the middle of it.
He's been the guy that's been the constant every day he's been in the lineup. No downtime for him.
And now Andrew Jones.
His longest hitting streak, 24 games. For Edgar, that was actually spanned 2 seasons, October of '05 to May 9th of last year.
Braves in business, runners at the corners. 0-1. Ball to strike now to Jones.
As a pitcher, it's got to be frustrating when you don't get that pitch called. Not that it was a strike, but it was so close, and Andrew didn't offer. You didn't get the call, and you feel like you've made a good pitch and nothing to show for it.
Towards third, backing up Bautista to second. That one is bobbled, and what are they going to say? Everybody's safe. Not on the transfer as Harris comes in to score, and it's 4-0.
That was all Willie Harris, John. That was all him putting pressure on the defense. What a great job. The third baseman froze him, Bautista. Willie froze. Then as soon as he started the double play, Willie breaks for home, and Sanchez took a peek to see if Willie was going for home. And when he did so, when Sanchez did so, he didn't catch the ball cleanly because Freddie wanted to come home and try to cut Harris off, and he didn't get anybody.
So a run in, and now Brian McCann. A walk that he scored on the Thorman home run.
Willie Harris played that perfectly, John. He didn't break right away because he doesn't want the third baseman to throw him out, but as soon as that throw went to second, boom, he's off to the races. And that's what put all the pressure on Sanchez. It's fun having him at the top of the order. Things happen.
No doubt. And the 1-0. And that's a strike to count even.
A lot of speed out there tonight. You think about Pete Orr batting in the 8th spot.
Two aboard for McCann, and the pitch. And ripped foul. Brian was saying he hasn't been feeling great at the plate, but swinging in the cage each of the last 2 days and just trying to get the better feeling. Mechanically, he said he's been off. To center, base hit. Renteria around third. Edgar towards the plate. He'll score, and the Braves lead this one 5-0.
Braves already have 5 guys with 20 RBIs or more, and tonight 2 more guys climbing toward 20. Thorman's up to 17. McCann's up to 17 with this nice piece of hitting. Breaking ball outside part of the plate. McCann just combed it to center. Renteria scored easily.
So McCann looks like he's knocked Tony Armas out of this game. The evening over, short night. 2 innings plus 4 batters. Braves lead 5-0, and our AT&T call to the bullpen. We'll come back with a new pitcher after this. Top 3 with nobody out, and the Braves have the offense rolling. They'll take a look at a new pitcher, veteran right-hander Marty McCleary.
This guy started the year at Indianapolis. He's 2-1. Used primarily as a starter there, as he was last year. And when you look at his numbers in the big leagues, his numbers are very high as a reliever. A 10.03 ERA in 7 relief appearances in his career. As a starter, he's made 2 big league starts. He's given up only 1 run in 12 innings. Maybe they need to put him in the rotation.
McCleary deals, and the first one to Frank Gore, driven well center field. Duffy going back onto the track. And the runners will retreat. Jones back to second. McCann back to first as Frank Coors retired for the first out of the inning. I called Marty McCleary a veteran. He is a veteran in terms of professional baseball. I mean, he's 32, and he's been pitching in professional baseball since '97, although at the big league level, he does not have a ton of experience.
That's still veteran. Brad Course swinging the bat real well. He hit that one to the wrong part of the ballpark, but he had 3 hits last night. Another one tonight. He's going good, and so is Thorman.
Thorman right here swings through that fastball. Only get the sense that Scott is feeling better and better at the plate and getting more at bats. Center field, Duffy puts the squeeze on that, and tagging from second, Andrew Jones to put runners at the corners, and 2 down as Thorman is out.
Chance for Pete to do some more damage. He's driven in a couple of runs this year. He has a chance to drive in another 1 or 2 here.
That'd be tough for him tonight. I mean, I'm sure he's thinking about it, not wanting to, but isn't your natural inclination when you don't get your first start till May 12th? He'd like to get about, what'd you say, 11 hits tonight?
Yes, at least. He probably had a decent idea after last night's game that he might play tonight, so I'm sure he went through the process of thinking that way, preparing for it.
McCleary fires, and ball 2, good eye by Pete Orr. Jones the runner at third, and Brian McCann an RBI single. He's at first. Pete Orr already has a double down the left field line in this game. And right there, Eldred, that'll end the inning. So McCleary comes in, does a good job, but the Braves getting the bats going. Thorman with the homer in the second. And here in the third, 2 more Braves runs, 5-0 Atlanta. Little walkway beyond right field just off the Allegheny. It's got a similar feel to AT&T Park out there in San Francisco.
Isn't it pretty, though? They've done a great job here in this city, revitalizing it.
First one to Jose Bautista is a strike. Third baseman Chuck James been sharp. 6 up, 6 down. Ball to strike.
Really, you think about the first couple of innings for Chuck James, it's hasn't been a problem. Maybe his last start he ran into some trouble, but typically his first 2 innings his ERA pretty good. After that's when he starts giving up some runs. Innings 3 through 6, 17 runs allowed.
2-2 now.
Just 2 allowed in his first couple of innings all year.
Off speed, and that one lifted right side. Kelly Johnson. 1 up, 1 down, and it's 7 straight retired to begin the game for Chuck James. Folks, it's our low jackpot stealing inning. Tonight's contestant is Sherry Kelly from Roswell, Georgia. Good luck to Sherry. Chuck's throwing some good changeups tonight, Joe.
And we were talking about, or I mentioned the arm slot, John, and there may be some people wanting to know, well, what does that mean? And it has to do with his arm angle when he gets ready to deliver the pitch. Is he too high with his elbow? Is his forearm angled out at a 45-degree angle unnecessarily? That all affects the flight of the ball on a pitch. It affects movement. And when he went back to check and see if he's doing the same arm slot this year versus last, he found that it was off.
1-1 to Jack Wilson is a strike.
And I would say so far what he discovered is working to his advantage.
Ripped down the right side, but foul. So much of it is the mental, then it turns into the mechanical. He's not confident, doesn't trust his stuff, starts to overthrow. You overthrow, your mechanics get out of whack.
And he's not a guy that's supposed to overthrow. He's not a guy that can get away with trying to throw 91 instead of 90. It just doesn't work that way for somebody who is not going to overpower you. His key to success is certainly a good fastball, but it's his changeup off the fastball and that new slider he's developed. Those are his out pitches now. Fastball sets it all up.
Wilson doing a good job spoiling pitches, and again, he's not an overpowering guy, but when you start to, you don't trust your stuff, he thinks 89 isn't going to be enough, so he wants it to be 91.
Right. Or he thinks he needs to throw at 94, and he can't throw at 94.
And that one misses. The ironic thing, and Roger McDowell talked about this, is a lot of times when guys tense up to throw harder, they end up throwing not as hard.
Yeah.
That one left field, but Willie Harris had him played perfectly 2 down.
Same thing with the hitter. I mean, you think that the harder you swing and the more you tighten your grip on the bat, the farther you're going to hit it. When in reality, you're actually tightening up so much that your bat speed slows down. You got to be loose. You got to have your hands loose.
Swing and a miss from the pitcher Marty McCleary. Armas started. Tony Armas went 2 innings plus 4 batters and gave up 5 runs, 4 earned on 7 hits. You know, it's a little bit like, you ever watch the Olympic sprinters? When they run, their faces are bouncing up and down, and they don't run with their fists balled up. They're told to completely relax as opposed to gritting their teeth, because that allows maximum type performance as opposed to that tension that you're talking about.
Yeah, no gritting of the teeth in the sprint, please.
All sorts of helpful hints here on the broadcast. Anybody out there trying to set the record?
Down the street.
100-yard dash. Greg Core makes the grab. Chuck James 9 up, 9 down. We'll go to the 4th in Pittsburgh. Top 4, 5-0 Braves. A former Brave right there, Adam LaRoche. And before the game, Katie Temple caught up with him and talked to him about his new number and the connection to Andrew Jones.
That was excellent.
Because it's not working right now. Adam getting the night off. Brad Eldridge starting at first base. Here's Chuck James. First pitch swinging and fouling it off.
Adam told me that he was hitting the ball sharply at the beginning of the year and right at people, no hits to show for it. Then he said, I started trying to hit the ball over to those buildings across the river. Got me in a bigger hole. He said, and then it became mental. He said, it's coming around, but slowly.
On a strike to Chuck James. At one point, he was hitting 091, and Chipper Jones called him up and said, tell me that's a misprint. And Adam said, no, it's not, but it's a hard 091.
Yeah.
Braves on top here. Chuck James done great work so far in the hill. And hits that breaking ball to second for Freddie Sanchez. So the pitcher retired, 1 away, and back to the top of the order.
In our scouting report on Tony Armas, talked about cutting down on his walks and his wildness being a problem. Well, that big 3-run inning in the second that was capped by Thorman's homer started on a walk, a 1-out walk, 4-pitch walk to McCann. It still came back to haunt him tonight.
Strike 1 to Kelly Johnson, who was 0 for 2. These teams will wrap up the series tomorrow. LaRue and Snell. As Johnson floats that one towards left center. It's a base hit. Kicks away from Bay. And Kelly's going to try for 2. And he's in there.
That'll probably be a base hit in an E7. Fans unhappy with their Pirates tonight. They booed Armas as he left the field, and they're booing one of their favorites, Jason Bay, because he tried to barehand that ball. That was not a good play by Jason Bay, and Kelly Johnson took advantage of it.
Indeed, hit and an error, and a man in scoring position with 1 out. And here's the red-hot Willie Harris, single and a double. Rips that one. Fair ball right field. Willie Harris had it again. Here comes Kelly. He'll score, and it's 6-0. Willie's 3 for 3 with a couple of doubles. He is just spraying it all over the field.
Stay hot, Willie. Chipper couldn't play tonight. Bobby Cox is a genius. He altered his lineup. Ask Edgar if he'd mind batting third for a couple of days. Moves Willie into the number 2 spot, and he's having himself a heck of a night. Picks up another RBI too. He's got 3 on the year.
Renteria fouls that one off. 0-1 on Edgar, who extended his hit streak last time up. Great start to the season for him, back in the National League last year after a year with the Boston Red Sox. McCleary deals a strike. It is 0-2.
This Pirates team coming in with a record of 15-19 tonight. Very low on the totem pole offensively in the National League. Not that much better pitching wise. 12th in the league at the start of the series in ERA.
Edgar chases there. It's a strikeout. 2 gone. Folks, the first Braves Power Lunch of the season coming up Friday, May 25th. Join Jeff Francoeur, Kelly Johnson, Willie Harris, and third base coach Brian Snitker for lunch at the ESPN Zone. Make your reservations today by calling 404-682-3776. The swing and a miss. We talked earlier about Andrew and Adam LaRoche in the connection, and I said, hey, what do you think about Adam wearing your number? And saying it's flattering. He said, that's my boy. Andrew was even saying that he asked Adam for a number 25 Pirate jersey, and when they come to town, he said, I want to wear it to the park.
Really? How interesting. This Braves clubhouse, a tight-knit group of guys. And when you get traded away from that, you wonder if you're going to be able to find that same niche in another clubhouse. Adam says these are great guys with the Pirates, but it's his first few months with them, so it'll take a while to develop the same friendships he's developed coming up through the minor leagues with almost all of these guys with the Braves.
The 3-1, and Andrew able to stay off that pitch. Good job right there.
Another good sign of his balance and his patience that wasn't there a couple of weeks ago.
Because that's a pitch that you get him out on when he's struggling.
Well, and especially if he's thinking, I want to hit home runs, and I'm trying to spin on my back leg. He's trying to hit every pitch for a home run, even that slider down and away.
2 on, 2 outs, and Brian McCann, a walk and an RBI single. We'll get the day off tomorrow.
Yeah, Jared Saltalamacchia is going to catch Anthony LaRue tomorrow against Ian Snell. Looks like Domak got crossed up on that one.
Armas started this one. Braves chased him after a little over 2, and he gave up 5 runs, 4 of them earned on 7 hits. Big hit so far tonight, Scott Thorman, 3-run blast out there right center field. It was a no doubt. 2-0. You're right what you were saying before, though. It is a fun and playful Braves clubhouse. They like playing with each other.
And they all have one thing in common. They all like Bobby Cox and respect him. That's where it all starts.
Hand gets under this one. Shallow center. Out Sanchez. Duffy in. It'll be the second baseman. Braves, they'll pick up another run. Willie Harris is 3 for 3. Delivers an RBI double, and it's 6-0.
Buckle up. It's a new season of...
Back at Pittsburgh, here's what's happened so far. The big hit in the second. Scott Thorman. Willie Harris is swinging a hot bat, and Tony Armas did not have a good night. A short night for him, and so far Chuck James hasn't allowed a base runner. Top of the order, and ball one to Chris Duffy, the center fielder.
And all those flyouts, I recommended he have them all hit the ball to Andrew. He's spacing it out. He's keeping Frank Coor and Willie Harris busy too.
Keeping everybody interested.
Mm-hmm.
Duffy. It's been a tough start to the month for him. 4 to 31. It's a 129 average. This one center field. Andrew right there.
Chris Duffy's the guy that last year started with the Pirates and they had to send him out because he wasn't playing well, but he didn't want to go. Wasn't going to report to Indianapolis, and there was a big tug of war over whether or not, who was going to prevail there. And of course the Pirates did. Some questions as to whether or not when they needed to call him back up later in the season if they would do so. But they did, and they got all their differences ironed out, just that he hasn't played up to what he hoped he'd be able to produce at the big league level.
It's always tough for guys. Getting sent out is frustrating, especially when players feel like they haven't been given the proper chance.
But Jim Tracy's a very fair guy, I think, and from everything I hear about him, especially from his players, that he treats you like a man, expects you to act like a man. Highly respected in their clubhouse.
Yeah, there's no question Tracy is considered a fair guy. I'm just saying it from a player's perspective. I think all players want to be out there every single day. All players want to get multiple at-bats even when they're struggling. Sanchez rips that one to right. Frank Coor in the move. Jeff reaching out and hauls it in. Nice catch.
Good play. Boy, did he get a good break on that ball. There's virtually no foul territory right there. Maybe 3 feet worth. So he had to throw in the brakes quickly too. Nicely done.
Outfield defense factoring into this one, as Joe Simpson said it would. And Chuck James, he's been tremendous. Ball one to Bay, and the count is even.
How about that? The one ground out from Sanchez to Edgar in the first inning.
Another one in the air here, but Scott Thorman runs out of room. Chuck James last year was second in the National League in highest percentage of fly balls allowed. Only the Padres' Chris Young allowed a higher percentage. Of those two squared off the last time Chuck started.
Chuck's one of those guys that you don't teach the guy to throw high fastballs, but he can get away with elevating his fastball, and hitters chase it. And I think that's one of the reasons his changeup is so effective, because there's such a drastic difference in the level of delivery of those pitches.
Changes the plane.
Yes, he does.
He's ahead of Bay right here. And in the air for Willie Harris. Settles under this, and that is the third out of the inning. Chuck James hasn't allowed a base runner through 4. We'll move to the 5th, and it's all Braves. Jeff Frank Coor.
Pretty impressive.
Right field. Nady. Well, Scott Thorman up here, and he's made an impact here tonight. Our Ford edge of your seat play of the game. 2 aboard in the second, Joe, and no doubt.
No, I don't know that we heard the tail of the tape on that, but it was about halfway between the 375 and the 399 mark, and about 6 rows up. No doubter, as you said.
And lifts this one to left Bay. And that one will land foul. Long run for Jason Bay out there.
Fans are on him for not catching that. They boo him when he misses one. They boo him when he's not hauling in a foul ball. Of course, he pulled up a little early on that one, perhaps. Maybe that was what bothered him.
Bay, the native of Canada.
And if the Pirates don't want him, I'm sure there are a lot of teams that would volunteer to take him off their hands.
You're not kidding. Deal one. And Scott takes a strike. The Canadians all over the place. Thorman, Pete Orr. And he struck him out. So McCleary gets Thorman. First two gone here in the Braves' fifth. And now here comes Pete Orr as McCleary will face him. No Chipper Jones tonight for the Braves, and you got a chance to speak with him before the game. The thumbs and the grip, the problem, right?
Yeah, it's not even really in the joint of the thumbs. It's in the meaty part of your thumb, on the palm, on both sides. It's really bruised and swollen. He and Andrew were running on a pitch that was grounded to third, and he got upended by Bautista. And unfortunately, he was able to get his hands down to break his fall. He said, or else my face goes in to the dirt with a header. Fortunately, no broken bones, no separated shoulders or collarbones or anything like that. So a couple of bruised thumbs, you can live with that tonight.
The instinct as well is one of the things that made me smile, just because you're hurting your wrists, your quad gets banged up, you knock the wind out of yourself a little bit, your thumbs, and reach out and make sure you touch the base.
Yeah.
I mean, he does a face plant, and he's right there, and that right hand reaches out. Nice grab there by Freddie Sanchez. Pete Orr has a hit stolen from him by Sanchez, and McCleary gets him 1-2-3. We played 4.5 in Pittsburgh. Pete Orr robbed, but the Braves lead this one 6-0. Last of the fifth in Pittsburgh. John Shambi, Joe Simpson here on Sports South. Gorgeous night. Chuck James back to work. He's been brilliant. Deals a first pitch strike to Xavier Nady. Every out but two in the air so far. And that bouncer to Renteria, broken bat as the business end went flying down the third baseline. And with one away, how about Pete Orr, as we mentioned, going to break, get a hit taken away from him. That one right on the button. Our Haviland defensive play of the game. Nice job by Freddie Sanchez.
Yeah, he made a nice crossover step right there to get to that ball and rob Pete of what might have been extra bases. That was a rocket.
Ryan Doumit right here. You know, Doumit, a guy who's been considered a prospect for them, began the year with the Bucks, got sent down, and you always like to see this because guys are frustrated when they get sent down. Started the year with the Bucks, got sent down, hit .415 with 4 homers, 20 RBIs in 16 games. I'll get back up there, right? Willie Johnson looking up on the edge of the grass, and that is out number 2.
Another good changeup. That's another reason he gets a lot of pop-ups, because watch this. Watch Doumit get out in front and have to one hand that swing to try to reach the changeup. Since he had already gotten out on the front foot and started to swing, he's under it. Easy out.
Brad Eldred getting a rare start as LaRoche sits tonight. And it is strike one. Chuck James is just pounding the zone now.
Yes, he is. 3-ball count to the first batter. Maybe the only one he's been to all night.
I was just about to say, it's a little uneven early. And another good changeup. Slow roller Kelly Johnson. And Chuck James through 5. Hasn't allowed a hit. Hasn't given up a base runner. We'll move to the 6th. 6-0 Atlanta. Braves offense steamrolling along, and
Well, that was very good.
thank you. I appreciate that. Professional broadcaster John Shambi alongside Joe Simpson, our Pepsi fans of the game here in Pittsburgh. And I mean, this is the spot to be because the fans are filling in the seats. Great crowd. Chuck James the other way, diving stab by Bautista. Throw to first. And a nice play there by the man at the hot corner. Has not made an error this season, and he started every single game. Joe, we get a good crowd here.
Excellent crowd. Bunch of folks. They said 30,000. I think we're going to have more than that. There aren't that many empty seats. There was a little, you could hear a little murmur and a little groan going through the crowd after Chuck retired his 15th straight man at the end of the 5th.
Jumping into Kelly, ball 1. He singled his last time up. And a ball and a strike to the leadoff man. Braves ended an 8-game homerless drought last night with back-to-back homers in the 6th by Jones and Francoeur. And Jeff, and here tonight Thorman with a big homer, and the count 2-2 to Kelly Johnson.
I think we talked about Thorman in particular back when the Braves were seeing those rash of left-handers in a row, that they just needed to get in the lineup a little more against right-handers on a consistent basis to get their swings down. At the time we were talking about Langerhans and Thorman. It's worked out good for Scott. He's certainly got it going.
And that ball driven to right field. Nady, though, shy of the track. And 2 gone. Well, maybe the hottest guy for the Braves here, Willie Harris.
First inning, breaks one to right field, base hit. Comes up in the 3rd inning, leads off the inning with a double in the gap to left center. How about a double down the first base line? He has 3 hits, 2 doubles, a run scored and a run driven in. And we're only in the 6th inning.
And it's a strike to Harris.
He's raised his average up to a cool 464. Not too shabby.
Ball and a strike to Harris, starting in left field. Edgar Renteria hitting 3rd tonight in place of Chipper Jones, who sits this one out. Chipper said a good possibility that he'll be out of the lineup again tomorrow.
I think that would be the smart thing after seeing the bruising in those pads on his hand under his thumb joint.
It's Bobby Cox's way too, isn't it?
Yes.
Such a big picture perspective that Bobby has as Bay puts the squeeze on, and Harris retired for the first time tonight. Well, the weather's just been spectacular here in Pittsburgh, and so far tonight, so have the Braves.
On 10-game road.
James, ball 1 to Jose Bautista. Joe, it really is about scouting the pierogies, and my advanced guy obviously did better work than your advanced guy.
I had Saul last night. I just didn't think he could go back to back, but he did.
If you noticed as well, they weren't tensed up when they were running.
Yes.
Saul, very relaxed, not gritting his teeth, as we discussed earlier. 2-1 now to Bautista. And a pitch. Good spot.
Bautista not happy. Walks away. Thought it was low. I kind of thought it was too. But Chuck's not complaining.
But that's what you get when you're pounding the zone and working quickly. Up, here we go. 3-2. Hasn't allowed a base runner so far tonight. And the count is filled up. pitch. Ball 4. First base runner of the game for the Pirates. So a man aboard to start the Pirates 6th, and our Aflac trivia question. Who holds the record for most home runs hit at PNC? Joe, do you know the answer to this?
I think I do. Got a good idea on that one. A little bit of a derisive cheer from the fans because the Pirates finally got a base runner. But it breaks up to perfecto for Chuck James. Let's see how he does out of the stretch, since he hasn't had to throw out of the stretch all night.
Jack Wilson 0 for 1, shortstop up. And a count 2-0. Wilson does a very good job defensively. Jim Tracy just trying to find something with the lineup. Wilson's been dropped to the 8th spot of late.
A little surprised he swung at that pitch. Guy's been mowing him down. Chuck James. He walks the batter in front of you, falls 2-0 to you. You're down by 6. Why would you offer until he found a strike?
And a count 3-1, but that is their team. Last in walks, last in on base percentage. So it's an aggressive team. I think you could even say a team that doesn't know the strike zone all that well.
Yeah.
3-1. Outside ball 4. So back-to-back walks issued by Chuck James. And McCann's going to go out for a visit. So 2 aboard, nobody out. Chuck James has thrown 71 pitches, and he's going to have to deal with a pinch hitter. It's Jose Castillo.
Castillo's lost his job at second base. 1 for 6 as a pinch hitter. And I guess has made it known he'd like to be traded. He's not unhappy as a Pirate, but he wants to play. And if he's not going to play, he'd like to be traded elsewhere.
Yeah, that was in the paper today. Braves leading 6-0, but the Pirates threaten. And that one to Pete Orr. Should be 2 to Kelly for 1. And a double play. 5-4-3.
That was one of the secrets to Kyle Davies' success last night. He got 3 double plays turned behind him. And as we've talked about all night, normally Chuck James not a ground ball pitcher, but he got one when he needed it there, and now needs one more out to preserve his shutout. His longest outing of the year, his second start of the year against Washington at Turner Field. 6 innings of 5-hit shutout ball.
Yeah, that is the only time besides tonight that he had gone more than 5 1/3.
And he's had to throw a lot of pitches in a lot of his starts too. Early on, that's shortened his outings. That was pitch number 75, I believe.
He's used the defense here this evening. Just got a big double play ground ball up the bat of Jose Castillo. Good pitch outside corner.
That looked like his slider, didn't it? Got the called strike to the left-hander. Nice pitch.
So now 1-2. Outside corner, got him looking. Chuck James, big strikeout. Walks the first 2, gets a double play ground ball, the strikeout. The Pirates leave a man. We go to the 7th, and it's 6-0. Now we go to the 7th here in Pittsburgh. Good crowd, gorgeous night. And the Braves leading 6-0. Pirates with a 0 in the hit column so far. Braves will face his right-hander, Sean Chacon.
He's been in a lot of ball games, 13 for the Pirates, and he's pitched more innings than any relief pitcher in baseball. 25 2/3. has only given up 1 run in his last 5 2/3 innings of work. No record, a 3.16 ERA.
3-4-5 for the Braves. Renteria, Andrew Jones, Brian McCann. Braves got after it early tonight. A 3-run homer in the second by Scott Thorman. It was off to the races. And Edgar. Ball 1 to him. Mets already lost today 12-3. Got pounded by the Brewers. New York gave up 5 in the 8th, 3 in the 9th.
Is that Pelfrey that took that loss?
He did.
He's been getting knocked around.
Pelted.
Yes.
And off the pitcher out to second, picked up by Sanchez.
Chacon's got a good fastball, has some good movement on it. That one obviously sawed Edgar off. Got that Chad Cordero look working with his hat too.
Pumps it a strike here to Andrew Jones.
We'll see Chad and Brian Langerhans and the rest of the Washington Nationals on Monday.
Been a tough go for them. Saw a note the other day that going into yesterday's games, in the last 40 years, the team that had led for the fewest innings, the 03 Tigers, they led that year in 30% of their innings. Remember, that team lost almost 120 games.
Right.
That ball is ripped to left. Bay coming on, dives, can't get it. It'll get past him and roll, and Andrew's off to the races. Takes a big turn at second. He'll stop there, and it's a double. And I got a feeling Jason Bay's going to hear it again.
That one looked like it hurt when he landed. Curveball, and not a bad one, but it did stay up some, and Andrews stayed on it again. Swinging the bat really well, and a whole lot better balance than he had a week or so ago. But boy, did he hit hard. Bay. I was watching Andrew because I wasn't sure how far that ball would roll to see if Andrew might have a chance for a triple. But you know, he can still really run. We don't give him enough credit for his foot speed. We always talk about his jumps in the outfield and quickness and getting a break, but he can still really run.
McCann to second. And 2 away. Folks, this copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the Atlanta National League Baseball Club and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without express written consent of the Atlanta Braves. So saying about the Nationals, the note, last 40 years, Tigers in 03 the worst, 30% of the innings played, they led. The Nats right now are at 28%.
No kidding.
I mean, so they have been behind and behind and behind.
Well, they went almost the whole first week with never leading an inning, didn't they? Except that one swing of the bat to win a game in the bottom of the 9th.
Yeah, Dimitri Young against the Marlins. Francoeur hard to third. That one ate up. Bautista goes to the plate and in safe. Andrew Jones.
Holy smokes. That shocked me, and it may have shocked Domet. The way Bautista got up and started throwing, I thought the ball came out of his hand funny trying to throw it to first, but he actually thought, well, I've got a better chance to throw Andrew out. And he was right, because Andrew kind of froze when the ball was hit. At least Bautista tried to make it a close play at home and couldn't.
That was hit hard. I'd say that caught Bautista as much as anything. And Andrew ahead of the baseball that Domet wasn't able to corral. RBI infield single for Francoeur as Thorman puts this one in the air a mile high. Eldred, foul territory, makes the catch, and that's the inning. Now we're midway in the 7th. Braves on top 7-0 in Pittsburgh. It's our 7th inning update brought to you by Delta. 2nd inning, Scott Thorman's 4th of the year put the Braves out front. Chuck James has been great, and Armas battered, but it's really about Chuck tonight, isn't it, Joe?
Certainly is. No hits through 6.
And Freddie Sanchez, roller to third. One down. Pete Orr starting at third base tonight in place of Chipper Jones, the bruised and battered Chipper Jones.
Expect to see him back in the lineup Monday in Washington.
Now one away, bases clear, and Jason Bay, who is 0 for 2. Pirates hosted the All-Star game last year, and Jim Tredinich, who is the Pirates PR guy, got word through a mutual friend. And there's the first hit of the game out to left field. So Chuck James gives up his first hit of the night, and what great work he has done so far.
He's been brilliant, and that was no cheapie, folks. That was a line rocket that was hooking like a slider that was up. And Bay stayed back, waited on it, and hooked it over Edgar's head.
The All-Star game, Jason Bay was a starter last year, but the group Pearl Jam, when they were in concert here, in the middle of the concert, Eddie Vedder said, "Hey, I know you got the All-Star game coming up. Make sure you vote for Jason Bay for the All-Star team."
No kidding.
Yeah.
Wow. What a compliment. Yeah.
A little bit low. And a ball and a strike to Xavier Nady, who starts in right field tonight, started in center last night. Chuck James been great this evening. And falls behind here 2-1.
His pitch speed tonight would be comparable to what it was when he was going good, somewhere in the 87 to 90 range. He hasn't tried to overthrow, let his changeup work. He's spotted his fastball well, and as a result, he's got a one-hit shutout working.
He's gotten a lot of very defensive swings from the Pirates. A lot of swings where guys are collapsing their front leg.
Yes, and getting out on their front foot on that change. But you know, even there, that's a fastball. That was 85, I think. Something, no, that was 90 actually. Had enough on it because of the other pitches that had set up Nady a little bit that he jammed him.
And again, off speed, skied in the air. Andrew Jones trying to do the decoy thing right there. And 2 away.
Andrew's trying to pull a Turner Field Twilight. I don't see a routine there. It was a good try. Where is it? Where is it? I don't see it, but I got to keep my eye on it.
He has a good time out there. I don't know that you could make the case there are too many guys that have more fun playing defense.
And he probably can't wait for Chuck James to pitch again, because you're going to get some action when Chuck's pitching. A lot of fly balls.
Strike to Domit, the count 1-1. How about last homestand? That one fly ball that just had some slice to it and kept moving away from him. He ended up catching it in front of Willie Harris in straightaway left field.
Absolutely. It's kind of funny and a little bit embarrassing for Andrew. I said that he'd never run into the Braves dugout from that direction before, so that was a treat for him. He was almost running down the third baseline.
And had a big smile on his face as he came in. Peeking over his shoulder at Willie Harris. Just missed, man. And it's even up 2-2 on Ryan Domit.
Couple of pitches this inning might be an indication that he's tiring a bit. He left a slider up to Bay. He got away with a pitch here to Domit early in this count that was called a strike, but a kind of a hanger. on the year, you can see that things go south quite a bit after his 75th pitch. But so far, not tonight.
He's had, as you mentioned, to use up a lot of pitches early in games. Most starts this year, not tonight.
What a great tool that videotape is, though, for looking at something that he was talking about, which was that arm slot, arm angle.
Little bit high, and he walks Domit with 2 outs, so there'll be 2 aboard.
That might get the bullpen busy.
Pretty consistent right there.
He's just had a great night. He really has had a great night. He's bounced back great from his probably his worst outing as an Atlanta Brave. His numbers so consistent in the minor leagues. A quick rise through the organization, a winner at every level. And last year, an 11-game winner. He was terrific. And he ran into a little, as he put it to me, he said, just a little bump in the road. We'll get it ironed out. We'll get it figured out. He said, I think it's all about arm angle and arm slot. What a great line, huh?
Closing in on 100 pitches. Yeah, the bullpen is now active with the big fella, Paranto. And we talked about it in the open. They've gotten really good starts of late from the 4 and 5 spots. LaRue, Davies has been very good twice. And they needed Chuck James to step up tonight, and he has. Eldred rips that one foul.
Yeah, speaking of big guys, Eldred, he doesn't look that big or that huge, but he's a 275 pounder, about 6'5".
Downstairs, Adam LaRoche getting the evening off with the lefty on the hill. So Eldred starts. And Jim Tracy just trying to find some answers offensively. Got him on a fastball upstairs to cut and miss.
Again, not overpowering, but he elevated a pitch and Eldred couldn't catch up to it. That was 87 miles an hour, but it was high enough really out of the zone that the hitters can't get a level swing at it, so they chase it up.
See what Chuck comes up with here with 2 aboard, 2 outs, and Eldred lays off.
Tried it again. You could see the target from McCann there. He wanted it up about shoulder high again. They just didn't get him to offer.
Come back with a changeup here.
I think so.
Braves up 7-0, bottom 7. And the 2-2. Changeup struck him out.
Beauty.
Chuck James has been dead on here tonight. 7 shutout innings so far, and we will move to the 8th. The Southpaw's been spectacular. Braves lead.
And Bobby, if the Braves hang on to win, will pass Sparky and move into 4th place all by himself among all-time wins for managers. And I told Bobby before the game, John, that I'd done some adding. I said, I'm just projecting that, let's say the Braves win 90 games this year, and you come to this total. I subtracted that from Connie Mack's numbers. So all you have to do is win approximately 91 or 92 games every year for the next 17 years to catch Connie Mack.
Right.
He got a big chuckle out of that.
So Orr up here facing the new pitcher. And that's Damaso Marte. Jim Tracy making a couple of changes. Lefty on here. He's done great work. 0.79 the ERA. And a strike to Orr. 1-1 new left fielder. Nate McLouth takes over. He's going to hit 9th. Orr up here. And Pete cuts and misses. Marte has always had a good arm.
Well, he's a little bit of a slinger, too. He throws hard, but he makes it hard on lefties because of that delivery. 11 innings this year, 5 walks, 14 strikeouts.
right there. Orr is gone.
94.
Orr is retired. And Damaso Marte is going to face a pinch hitter. The evening is over for Chuck James.
Well, he's earned the rest of the night off. What a great night for Chuck.
Matt Diaz here. First pitch swinging. Bautista throws him out. So Marte makes quick work of the pinch man. And Kelly Johnson will come up to hit. So Chuck James is in line for what would be win number 4. And just great work tonight. Kelly's 1 for 4 and lays off here.
His next start scheduled to be the last game in Washington on Thursday. Rotation for that series beginning Monday at RFK Stadium. Smoltz against Jason Bergman, a rematch of the only game that John's lost this year. Tim Hudson against an unnamed pitcher as yet for Washington on Tuesday. Kyle Davies scheduled against Sean Hill, but I understand Sean Hill had to come out of yesterday's game with a sore arm, so we may not know who's going to pitch that game.
No hits through 5, and Hill left with some tenderness in the right elbow.
What a shame.
And on Tuesday right now, I think they are pretty confident that Jerome Williams will be activated off the DL. Had an ankle problem, and he'll go Tuesday night, but it has not been announced yet.
So Williams is on the DL. Patterson's on the DL. Hill might be going to the DL in their rotation. If it weren't for bad luck.
Bautista throw is Aaron Johnson is safe.
Might that be his first error of the year? He's been outstanding over there at third base, catching everything hit his way. Boy, that was a good call over there by Dana DeMuth. And it is an E5.
First of the season for Bautista, who started every game.
Third error of the night on the Pirates, who started this series with the third best defensive numbers in the league.
Let's check out our Panasonic replay showing you the speed of sports. And Willie Harris been showing off his speed all night long. Spraying it all over the field. He's got a couple of doubles, including this one to left center. That was in the third. And Willie Harris, the spotlight for our Panasonic Plasma replay. Good breaking pitch, strike 1. Check that, strike 2. And that one flipped the other way. Willie Harris has himself a 4-hit game. Good work, man.
He's been to all fields, hasn't he? Fourth hit of the night against a tough left-handed pitcher. Most hits in a game 5 back in August of 2004 against Kansas City. He's got 4 tonight.
He is a double to straightaway, or I should say a single to straightaway right field, a double to left center, a double down the right field line, and now a single to straightaway left. Renteria, that one softly hit, backpedaling out there is Sanchez to make the catch. So the Braves can't deliver the 2-out magic in the 8th. 2 are left, but Atlanta on top.
Braves fans, I'm Jerome Gerenik.
Home half of the 8th as the Braves are trying to make it 5 consecutive wins. And it's been great pitching that has carried them here tonight. Chuck James, 7 shutout innings, turns it over to the big fella Chad Paranto, pitching in his 13th game. And He's 2-0, a 3.60 ERA.
He's given up a run in each of his last 2 outings, although one of those has to have an asterisk. The run scored after 2 were out when he hit the pitcher sort of accidentally, remember? Came around to score.
Right.
Around that pitch got away from him and he hit Chris Young in the knee.
Right.
So that run we just kind of looked the other way on.
That one sliced to right. Bautista with the second hit of the game for the Pittsburgh Pirates. And time now for the answer to our Aflac trivia question. We asked here at PNC who is the all-time home run leader.
Craig Wilson would have been my guess.
You, sir. You would be correct.
I know Jason Bay's probably closing in on him. Craig had some good years here with the Pirates.
And here's the other Wilson, Jack, who played with Craig over here for a number of years.
They used to have 2 Wilsons. Now it's just Jack.
That's right. Braves 7 runs, 12 hits, no errors, 0-2-3 for the Pirates here tonight. Toronto, and that sinker missing down and in. Just really good to see the performance tonight out of Chuck James. Lefty, 7 shutout innings on 1 hit. That hit in the 7th off the bat of Jason Bay. Braves on top 7-0. And that one passed Orr down the left field line towards the corner. Willie over there gets past him. And they're going to send Bautista. Edgar will hang on to it, and the Pirates are on the board.
Chad Pirano relies on sinkers to get some ground balls. That ball got up a little bit, and Jack Wilson able to turn on it. Like Willie had a little trouble playing the carom down there too, and it came off the wall. They do not charge an error. It's a double and an RBI.
So the Braves lead now by a half dozen, and Nate McLouth, who came on to begin the top half of the 8th. And a first pitch strike to him.
One of the nuances of this ballpark are all the little nooks and crannies in the outfield, and right down the line is one of them in left field.
Lots of angles here. It's a far cry from the park they used to play in, Old Three Rivers Stadium. That symmetrical park that's AstroTurf and kind of a cookie cutter feel.
Absolutely, one of the old original cookie cutters. It's one of the little nooks out there in far center field, little left center field, if you will, out by the Braves bullpen. Pirates bullpen just beyond that.
There was that stretch there. It would have been an interesting contest if there was some way to do it. Riverfront, the Vet, Three Rivers, and Busch. You wake up, where are you?
That would have been a nice test.
Down the left field line, and Willie Harris almost comes up with the grab.
I think Willie might have gotten leather on this. He had to go up into the stands to try and get it. Checked himself. up over the rail. Oh boy, I think he did hit off the thumb of his glove and then right off the railing.
Long run, good effort. Count 2-2 with a man at second, nobody out. And Paronto to the plate. McLeod grounds out one up the middle, base hit. Wilson around third, he'll stop as Andrew fires it in. So 3 straight hits to greet Chad Paronto here in the 8th.
Right through the wickets on this one, right between the feet of Chad Paronto. Andrew got on it quickly. Jack Wilson thought he would score easily, but his third base coach, Mr. Cox, said, no, we're down 6. We're not going to run into any outs here.
Activity in the pen. Side-winding right-hander from Australia. At the top of the order now, and Chris Duffy, who was 0 for 3. Braves would love a ground ball into double play. Left field for Willie Harris. This will be deep enough to score a run. And tagging and touching Jack Wilson. It's 7-2. So Duffy picks up the RBI, his 9th. And now Freddie Sanchez will come up to hit. The Pirates overall had a bad year last year, 67 and 95. Second half, though, they were 2 games over 500. They went 37 and 35 from the All-Star break on.
They have a good bullpen. It's just a matter if they can get some runs on the board, turn the game over late to their bullpen.
Line drive, base hit, left field. Been a tough 8th inning for Chad Paronto, and runners at first and second with 1 out.
Chad just had a hard time getting the ball down this inning. 4 hits in the inning. Here's another pitch that stayed up. A sinker that's just not quite sinking. That was above the knees. And now Adam LaRoche will get a pinch hit appearance, but not apparently against Mr. Paronto.
So Bobby Cox making the march to the mound as the Pirates have come up with a couple of runs here in inning number 8. Chad Paronto exits. Peter Moylan into the game with a couple of boards. All quiet on the Allegheny, and so far here at Pittsburgh, been a good trip for the Braves, leading 7-2 with 1 out in the 8th with a pitching change. Coming up right after the game, Braves Live. We'll have all the post-game coverage, including sound highlights and analysis of tonight's game. Jerome Jurinovich, Ron Gant will update you as to what else is happening around MLB. Braves Live coming up next.
Pete Moylan hadn't been out there in a few days, John. It's been 5 days. His last outing was the first game against the Padres, 2 innings of shutout ball.
And former Brave Adam LaRoche up here with 2 aboard. And that one sinks down and away, ball 1.
Adam delivered a sacrifice fly last night in addition to going 0 for 2 with a walk. I don't have to tell you that he's got long ball potential, and a long one here makes this a ball game.
And it's now 2-0. He's off to a really tough start. I was reading that he went over videotape and looked at last year in the second half when he was going really well, and they still couldn't find anything mechanically that he was doing differently.
Well, one of the things is that he's got a lot of moving parts, to quote Chipper Jones.
And that one softly hit Kelly Johnson. A second one on to first. Double play. 4-6-3. Moylan comes in, gets LaRoche to bounce into the twin killing. And Peter Moylan continues to do tremendous work using the defense right here. Out of the 9th, Braves by 5. 7-2 Braves, top 9. And time to check out our Dodge drive of the game. 0-0 in the second. 2 aboard, 1 out. Scott Thorman, the blast, just to the right of the Heinz sign out in right center field. And early on, the Braves with a 3-0 lead. 2 more in the third, 1 in the fourth, a single run in the seventh. And Atlanta enjoying a 7-2 advantage.
It definitely set the tone for the night, didn't it?
Yeah.
Gave Chuck James a chance to relax and pitch well.
Jonah Bayless will take over. He's been used a lot so far.
Pitched last night, worked an inning in the third, gave up 2 hits, but no runs, no walks, struck out 3 in relief of Zach Duke. Andrews had some good at-bats tonight. He's extended his modest hitting streak to 5 games.
First pitch swinging, and it's 0-1. Joe, I will say that when you look at this game tonight, there is one thing that should be really disconcerting to Bobby Cox, and that is they only have 1 2-out run.
Yeah. Something else to worry about, I guess. It's funny.
I mean, it's been amazing the run that they've been on with 2 outs.
I've never seen anything like it. Bobby says his only explanation is, well, you know, we have real good hitters. It really doesn't matter how many outs there are. We've just got some good hitters.
Yes. There's a swing and a miss, and Jones is down on strikes. So Andrew retired.
You're talking about the 2-out runs, John, and it's not just runs but batting average too. Look what the Braves are hitting with nobody out, a .232 average, 1 out, .250, and then you want to know one of the reasons they've scored so many 2-out runs, because they're hitting over 300 as a team.
They're leading in batting average with 2 outs and batting average with men in scoring position with 2 outs. You know, you made a good point. It's simplistic, but you'd sit there and talk about success with 2 outs. But this is a good offensive team, and there are good hitters on this team. You assign these different qualities to guys. You look at a guy like Derek Jeter and debating the idea clutch, not clutch, but I mean that's a quality that gets assigned. He's a good hitter.
He's a good hitter. These guys are good hitters. Brian McCann hits the ball to all parts of the ballpark. He's a tough out. He's a good hitter. Same with Kelly Johnson and Francoeur. And we already knew that about the 2 veterans in the middle of the lineup, the Jones boys. But up and down the lineup, there are tough outs.
McCann hits this one in the air left field. McLouth for the second out of the inning. The other thing as well, when the regular lineup is playing and a right-hander is on the mound, Scott Thorman is hitting 7th for you. Kelly Johnson can run into 1. You leave something over the fat part of the plate. Top 7 spots in the order can hit a 3-run homer, all of them.
And I think that's reflected in their RBIs too, and how many they've all been able to accumulate. Jammed a little bit there on that 93-mile-an-hour heater. Francoeur did not face Bayless last night.
He is the captain of the 2-out squad and has their 2-out RBI here tonight. Home run last night. Braves on top here 7-2. Chuck James 7 shutout innings and gave up just 1 hit. That hit was with 1 out in the 7th to Jason Bay.
He retired the first 15 he faced through 5 innings, had a perfect game through 5, then walked a couple of guys in the 6th, but got a double play and a strikeout to get out of that.
And that one solidly struck, although he broke his bat. And for Jeff Francoeur, his 3rd hit of the night.
That's back-to-back 3-hit nights for him. Good at bat against a tough righty. Fell behind in the count, fouled off a real tough pitch, and then found a hole with that one. He came into the game hitting .301. Don't look now.
Thorman with 1 hit, but it's a biggie, and the Braves lead by 5. Anthony LaRue, Ian Snell tomorrow. LaRue told me he's going to have about 40 people here.
Good. Good for him. I know he'll be excited about it. What a road trip for him. He gets to pitch in front of a lot of family and friends here, and then his next start will be in Fenway Park.
The place will be packed to the gills. Sold every ticket before opening day this year at Fenway.
And they say this Braves weekend a week from now will be one of the hottest tickets to come by in Boston.
You think when Bonds and the Giants are there, it'll be tough to get in?
I would guess.
1-2. Oh, Scott Thorman gets into that one deep and gone. A rocket to right, his 2nd of the night. Bayless looking on, and the Braves lead this one 9-2. Goodness. I'd say he got it.
Oh my. You know, usually he's kind of geared toward right center field. This one he kind of fell back, threw the head of the bat out there, and scalded one to pull. Look at that high pitch, leveled off. No doubt about it, his first career multi-home run game. Wow. That just lacked a little bit of altitude heading for the river. It was too low.
Well, the stands just got in the way, basically.
That's right.
Tapper from Pete Orr. Bayless throws him out. And that's the inning. But Scott Thorman with 2 hits tonight, and both of them have gone over the fence. The big fella, and no doubter to right. And it's all Braves. Home Depot player of the game. Tonight's starting pitcher, Joe Chuck James, was on point.
Retired the first 15 batters he faced, and through those 15 only had 1 strikeout. Had a lot of pop fly outs off his changeup. Right there, a beauty for the strikeout. He wound up allowing only 1 hit, no runs through his 7 innings of work, his longest outing of the year. 3 walks, 3 strikeouts total. Brilliant job.
Moylan continues. Xavier Nady, strike 1. Nady hitless tonight, came over at the trade deadline last year from the Mets. Strike 2.
Well, this guy's likable, isn't he? Peter Moylan, always so pleasant and fun to talk to, happy. He's got a real quick wit too.
Absolutely. I mean, it sounds silly, but he enjoys being a big leaguer. As far as, this is really great, I get to do this every day.
And don't you appreciate that?
Yes. Nice pitch, got him looking. Nady down on the slider, and Moylan continues his fine work.
Seems like with every outing, Peter Moylan gets more and more comfortable. You know, he hasn't worked in 5 days, and it took him a couple of pitches. He fell behind to LaRoche when he was pitching to him last inning. Fell behind because he didn't quite have that release point yet, that sinker going down and away. But he's found it, got the double play, now a strikeout. He's throwing hard, too. That's a very hard sidearm sinker, 91.
The pitch, nothing in 2. When you look at Moylan, first appearance of the year. They got banged around by the Marlins. Third of an inning, gave up 3 runs. But since then, he's been tremendous.
Has he given up a run since then?
1 in now 15 innings. Make it 15 and a third innings. 1 run.
That's pretty good, mate.
He's an out away from wrapping up the Braves' 5th win in a row. Slow roller to third, but it's foul.
Pete Orr contributed tonight. Gets his first start of the year. He goes 1 for 5, but that hit was back in the 2nd inning. He had a sharp double down the third base line. My guess is he'll be back out there tomorrow against Ian Snell, who's one tough customer.
Again, Braves Live coming up at the conclusion of our game. Jerome and Ron back at our studios, and they'll have it all for you. Highlights, analysis of this game, and a look around the major leagues. Moylan's 0-1. It's a strike. He looks good, huh?
Absolutely.
93.
Yeah. I think that's a shocker to most of the hitters that come up there. Most of the time you look at a guy warming up and he's throwing sidearm, you're thinking real hard sinker and slider, but not speed-wise.
Good pitch right there, and there's your ball game. Moylan nails it down. Did great work getting 5 outs here tonight, and the Braves win this one 9-2. Great job by Chuck James. 7 innings of one-hit shutout baseball, and Scott Thorman a couple of home runs, and hopefully get a chance to talk to Scott. Braves win at 9-2. Coming up next, Braves Live. Stick around. Jerome and Ron have it all right after this break.